Hey everyone, welcome back to another review, and this is my review for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. Now before I get into this review, I want to thank you guys for your understanding and patience while I've had to be off for the last few months. But I'm back now, and so here we go for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. So, for those probably wondering, yes, the first one would have ended up being my number one worst movie of 2023. I absolutely despised the first movie. I didn't think it was really a good idea from the beginning to take such a Disney icon and turn it into a horror film. I thought it was probably the stupidest idea ever to do that. And then when the movie came out and I watched it, it ended up being significantly worse than I imagined it to be. Won't delve too much into my review. If you want to know, you can go ahead and watch the review for that. I'll put the card up here for that. So now we have this sequel, which is... This is a year after the events of the first film. Where long and behold, we actually have a story here, which is definitely one of the big positives I would give this. So, this is a step up from the first movie. The question is, where is it a step up with? Is it a step up with having an actual story itself? Or is it a step up maybe with the design? Let's talk about it. So, starting off with the positives, I'll talk about the biggest positive and the fact that we do have an actual story here. As I said, this is a year after the events of the first movie. Things haven't been going well for Christopher Robin. A majority of people actually don't believe him, that he was not the one behind the 100 Acre Woods massacre. Very few people do believe him. And now with Pooh, Piglet, and two new additions, Tigger and Owl, exacting revenge on Christopher Robin, it is up to him now to convince everybody who doesn't believe him that these monsters are real. So, to me, that's a step up, to be able to actually have an actual story here, unlike the first movie. The other big positive I'll give is the design of the monsters themselves. I thought the design of Pooh and Piglet in the first movie was borderline insulting. I mean, I do understand that the first movie was on a much lower budget. But even at that, you know, still have a design that is at least decent. So the design here is definitely a vast improvement. I think a lot of people will probably say that Tigger definitely has the best design, and yes, I will agree that visually, Tigger is the best character. We'll get back to him in a little bit. I think the Christopher Robin that we actually get in here is much better than the first movie. Now, Christopher Robin here has been recast. It actually is the producer who takes on the role of Christopher Robin here. And for what we're given, he is actually caring. You do feel for him. I really liked the cast of his parents. His parents are one of the very few people who actually do believe him. Moving on to the mixed, one of the things in the first movie was there was pretty much no dialogue from Pooh or Piglet in the first movie, except for the last minute of the film. And here it's changed. Pooh still is that silent killer who basically has no dialogue whatsoever. But Tigger and Owl, particularly Owl, is now the ringleader of the group. And they seem to talk quite a bit. And I don't know, it felt kind of a bit out of place. I wish they maybe just kept it the same, that these villains still have no dialogue. I mean, I'm really glad that the design themselves look better, but I kind of do wish that maybe we kept it where they don't talk. Kind of another mix for me was, as I said, Tigger's a fun character. He definitely is, well, visually, he is the best designed character in the movie. And there's, spoiler alert, there is there's a part towards the movie, around the last 15-20 minutes of the film, where one of the characters is holding this big party. And, of course, Tigger, Pooh, and Owl, well, actually, no, Tigger and Pooh, sorry, pretty much crash it. There's this huge blood massacre that occurs. And this is where we actually get to hear Tigger actually really kind of talk for the first time in the movie. And he ends every line with bitch. So you kind of do feel a bit of vibe of Freddy Krueger there. And it was funny the first time, but then it gets repeated about 5 or 6 times. And it's just like, do I really have to go through this again and again and again? Now moving on to the negatives. As I said, even though I think this is a vast improvement from the first movie, there still is issues. I can't really call this a good movie for that matter. As I said, it's still a dumb idea for the fact that you would do this. I would say, compared to the first movie, I didn't find myself angered by the end. I mean, I walked into this movie really not wanting to go in and see it. And yeah, I walked out saying, you know what, it was better than the first movie, but it's still not a movie obviously I would recommend. So overall, guys, while I do think this is a better film than the first, I think more of it comes in for the visual design. I do appreciate the fact that they actually are trying to make an actual story here. But I still think it fails in the story point. Really, the only big improvement for me here was with the design. So I cannot recommend this movie at all. So overall, I would give Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, I would give it a D-. It is better than the first movie, don't get me wrong. But it's still a movie that's going to end up on my bottom 10 of the year. Who knows, maybe if I see worse films, it could slightly bump off. But I'm saying here and now that it most likely will end up there. So guys, movies may be good, movies may be bad, but I review them anyways. Peace.